Institute, SEA region, on a part-time basis. Okay, she's a fellow of Nutrition Society of Malaysia, who once served as a council member from the year 2010 to 2016. And she's also a committee member of the Ministry of Health Malaysia's Technical Working Group for Nutritional Guidelines for Pregnant and Lactating Mothers. So, Doctor, today we are talking about probiotics matters, and then some of the topics that we like to focus is on what are the health benefits of the probiotics and how does probiotic work? What are the risks of probiotics? What are the difference between probiotics and prebiotics? And okay, even though we heard a lot about probiotics, whether we actually know what is probiotics all about, and whether it's really crucial in our diet, daily diets, and then what are the pros and cons of this. So I think so doctor will be sharing with us some inputs on this and knowledge on this about 1 hour. Or so. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we will have a short breaks for the audience to take up some poll questions that we'll share later in between the presentations. And you're also welcome to share your concerns and questions and post it in the chat box down below. So Doctor will try to address as much as possible. So with that, Doctor, I'll hand over the floor to you to start the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ruby, for that kind introduction. A very good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank Mr. Lee for inviting me to share a talk this afternoon. So I'll keep things casual. I'll keep things easy for everyone to listen to. So hopefully within about half an hour or 40 minutes, we'll be done with that. And so let me just share my slides now. Okay. All right. Can you see it, Ruby, everyone? Can you?
Yeah.
Hope everyone can see it. Yeah. Okay. Let me just, yep. Okay. So very good afternoon again. Once again, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll be spending the next, I'll just keep my time as well so that I'm mindful of the time, not to exceed the time given. So today we're going to just, as Ruby mentioned a while ago, there are a few things that we want to listen to learn about this afternoon. So the title of today's presentation or sharing would be just understanding probiotics containing foods. So in order to understand that, the things that Ruby mentioned a while ago will be covered throughout along the course of my sharing this afternoon. May not be in the sequence as Ruby mentioned a while ago, but if you listen through, you'll find the information, bits and pieces here as well. So this is an overview of what I'm going to share this afternoon. I'll first introduce the topic, where these sort of good bacteria or probiotics can be found. And then I'll go into definitely defining or making you understand what is gut microbiota. Okay, what are their roles? Are there some factors that influence our good bacteria inside our gut system? And what role does diet or the food that we eat, the types of food that we eat, plays a role in, gut microbiota? And then some take-home message, some of the foods that are very good for our gut. And before I leave and end this session, I'll give you some easy, practical nutrition tips for maintaining good gut health. Okay, so as mentioned by Ruby a while ago, if you have any questions, please do feel free to type in the chat box, and then I'll try to address them at the end of this sharing session. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's just start off with a very quick introduction. As you can see on the slide, you can see on the top, there's a picture of the human body, highlighting the digestive system. So basically, that's our gastrointestinal tract. So it's a very long tract, and it plays a very important role, actually not one role, but two of them, okay? So the GI tract, actually, the main role is to digest and absorb whatever nutrients that we get into our body system so that it nourishes our cells and our systems. Now, besides that, the GI tract is also functions, it is also to excrete waste products, expelling out through defecation or urine whatsoever. So these are the things that they do. So it's a very, very important system that we have in our body because we eat every single day. Now, it is estimated in a human's average life, around 60 tons of food pass through the human GI tract. Now, when food passes through, it's not just the food. Microorganisms passes through as well. And with the Malaysian Water Association, I'm sure you're familiar with microorganisms, yeah? So basically, they're living organisms, living things that are very microscopic. So we actually swallow them through food as well. So there are things living in our gut system. Now, therefore, that leads me to the definition of gut microbiota. Basically, it means microorganisms that live inside our GI tract or gastrointestinal tract. Now, studies have shown it's very interesting that inside the microorganisms that live inside our human gut is 10 times more than what we have in the entire human body. And more interestingly, this sort of microorganism group is not just one particular type of microorganism. It's actually a dynamic community. So if I imagine it's like a residential area in Malaysia, anywhere we find, a group of mixed ethnicity of Malay, Chinese, Indian living in one community. So that's basically how it's like in our gut system as well. Yeah, all the microorganisms living together. And it's not just bacteria, but it also encompasses viruses, fungi or parasites as well. Now, with that background of the GI tract and the gut microbiota, let me just take a little bit of time to share with everyone what are the roles of the gut microbiota. If you can look from the slide shown on your screen, it will go from, clockwise from 1 o'clock. Yeah, so you see that the gut microbiota's main function, because it's involved in digestion, so therefore it breaks down food. So whatever food that we consume, the bacteria that's inside our gut or GI tract will start breaking down this food so that they break down and releases all these nutrients for absorption. Okay, now not all nutrients can be, we can get it from food, pardon me. Okay, there are some vitamins or minerals that are synthesized or made inside our body. So that goes to the role of these microorganisms in our gut. They make vitamins for us, particularly vitamin K, vitamin B12. So they are also important to make sure we have this sort of vitamins. Now, these microbiotas are like little soldiers as well. So if you look at 6 o'clock on the slide, it says protect the cell walls of our gut system. Our gut system actually is not a smooth layer. If you can see from the picture, it has all these wavy, structures we call viruses. These are to increase absorption of nutrients. So what does the microbiota do is that they line up that area in order to protect the body from pathogens or bad bacteria or viruses. But at the same time, it's also to increase absorption of the nutrients that's important for our body. So that leads me to the last two roles of the gut microbiota, which is because it lines up the cells of the gut, it therefore protects us, our body, from harmful bacteria. Yeah, if let's say harmful bacteria in any chance it gets through to our next layer of defense, then it stimulates the immune system, our defense system, to try and fight and suppress all these bad effects that we are experiencing in our body. So the gut microbiota plays a very important role, and it's often overlooked in the past. Okay. Now, I'm happy to tell you that, in the past, if you are a kid, when we were learning in school, or if you're a parent or grandparent, yeah, you always tell your kids or your grandchildren, please wash your hands for hygiene, to take care of yourself because you don't want bacteria to harm you. Now, we always perceive that bacteria are bad, but actually there's good bacteria and bad bacteria. And I'm sure among your audience, many of you know that already. Now, there is a fine balance in our gut system in terms of good bacteria versus bad bacteria. So in the ratio of, you can see 85% versus 15%. And there is a very delicate equilibrium that is maintained. So when you have good bacteria, more of it, then you have a better health, outcome. But when the bad bacteria starts to build up, that's where, diseases start to happen. So I'll show you in this next slide, that's precisely what happens. So if you can see from this slide, this is our GI tract. The red one signifies the bad effects of, an unhealthy gut, yeah, because of bad bacteria. And the sort of blue, light blue kind, is the good side of it, when you have more good bacteria and lesser bad bacteria. So in a nutshell, the gut bacteria actually provides very unique function to the host. We are the host. So we as humans, yeah, we are the host. these microbacteria live in us, and they impart very important impacts or effects on a person's health or disease state. So if you can see from the slide very quickly, you see if the person's gut is not healthy, there's more bad bacteria. It may lead to things like at the bottom of the slide, increased cardiovascular disease risk, gut inflammation, insulin resistance, which is tied to diabetes, or increased risk of diarrhea, or weaker gut, or sometimes even a leaky gut, as they would say it. Whereas if you have a healthy gut, the better things that you will enjoy, okay? Now, in general, ladies and gentlemen, the more types or species of microbiota that we have or one has in their gut, it is generally related to better health outcomes, means the general health is better. Now, as always, there's always exception, okay? Now, scientific papers have told us that there are certain diseases where, the types of microbes are just too much, that it causes problems, okay? But it is safe to say that in general context, the greater diversity of types of microbes one has in their body, the general health is much better, okay, compared to a selected few. Now, just to update everyone with the latest progress in the studies or the scientific world of gut microbiota, it has been now found that the gut actually speaks to the brain as well, okay? Now, the gut is known now as the second brain. Why? Because there is a connection between the gut and the brain. If you've heard of the saying, I get butterflies in my stomach, it links to your brain feeling stressful or anxious. So there is some sort of connection, and it is true probiotic bacteria. As you can see on the slide, the green happy little bacteria, that's probiotic bacteria. Now, probiotic means good bacteria. So basically, good bacteria do communicate with the brain, besides taking care of our gut. So through that connection with the brain, we have now seen studies how the types of bacteria in the person's gut can affect emotion, appetite, or even behavioral states. So what I'm meaning is that things like Alzheimer's disease, autism spectrum disorders are coming into light where probiotics bacteria do play a role. I'm not going to delve too much into that if you're interested, because the studies are also ongoing. So very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, let me just switch gear for a little bit, highlighting on the factors that affects our gut microbiota. So we have laid out a while ago our GI tract system, what is gut microbiota, that we have good bacteria versus bad bacteria. Are there things that we can do or things that we do that affects our gut microbiota community? There are, okay? So similarly, again, coming from 1 o'clock of the slide, I'll go through very quickly before I stop at diet, So in terms of pharmaceuticals, the medical medicine that we take do affect our gut microbiota community in our gut. Now, in terms of, let's say, if you have seen a doctor, they prescribe you antibiotics. Antibiotics is a typical classical example where it wipes out a lot of not only the bad bacteria, but also the good bacteria. So when you take antibiotic now in the practice, a lot of doctors will also encourage the consumption of probiotics in order to build back the good bacteria. Now, people who go through chemotherapy for cancer treatment, studies have shown that they have altered gut microbiota community as well. So we know pharmaceutical-wise, medications does play a role. Now, in terms of geography, where we live, plays a role as well. It's fascinating to see someone living in Japan versus someone living in Malaysia or someone living in the States have different community or profile of gut microbiota. And this got to do with diet, indirectly as well. Now, the life cycle stages also, a baby versus a teenager versus an elderly or pregnant woman would have a different profile of gut microbiota depending on what they need at that stage of their life. Now, birth for parents, ladies who deliver babies and feed their babies, birthing process and infant feeding methods also play a role. In general, a person who goes through a natural delivery, vaginal delivery, would get more natural good bacteria, because the baby goes through the canal and the vagina and picks up from the mother itself, okay? And in terms of breast milk feeding, there's a lot of good stuff inside there, including probiotics that will actually strengthen the baby's immune system as they grow. Now, stress is a killer for a lot of things in terms of health. Same goes for gut microbiota. People who experience a lot of stress, their profile for gut microbiota is leaning towards the bad side a little bit more. So that's something we want to watch out. So, and finally, diet. Now, among all these factors, diet has been found to be one of the strongest factors that influence gut microbiota. In other words, there's something we can do, yeah, if we want a good profile, a strong profile of good bacteria versus bacteria. And I'm going to go into that in the next few slides. Yeah? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, just an overview of how diet plays a role. We know there's a lot of studies now showing, the badness people highlight even in health magazines or newspapers these days, or even in social media about the downside of eating a Western diet. Now, Western diet, it comes with globalization, fast food, the pace, people like to go to it because it's tasty, yeah. Unfortunately, it is a type of diet pattern that is not very favorable to our gut microbiota. So you can see if a person feeds themselves mainly on a Western diet, what happens is that on the left-hand side, you can see there's a lot of opportunistic bacteria, meaning that bad bacteria start to grow. They like this sort of environment, which is high in fat, processed food, high in sugar, okay? And once these bad bacteria live in the gut, they increase inflammation that happens in the gut and across the whole body. Yeah, and then it will suppress the good bacteria. And SCFS is short chain fatty acids, which I'll actually cover in the next few slides later. Yeah. So overall, when all these things happen, what happens is that it increases the risk of chronic diseases to a person. Well, on the opposing end, if a person takes a predominantly plant-based diet, which is now highly recommended across the globe, yeah, because it's not only there's a carbon footprint, but also healthier for the planet, and healthier for human beings, what we see is that they have more beneficial bacteria being built up in the gut. So when the good bacteria is built up higher, there's less opportunity for bad bacteria to act on the gut, and therefore lesser inflammation and decreased risk of chronic diseases. So this is an overview of Western diet versus plant-based diet and its impact on gut microbiota. Now, what you see on your screen here, ladies and gentlemen, is a study that I found very interesting because it doesn't just stop at Western diet versus plant-based diet, but it goes into the sort of different types of diet. So this group of researchers, scientists, they went to study different types of diets that's popular, that's being practiced across the world, yeah, in our communities, even in Malaysia. So to study what they find in terms of gut microbiota profile in these people who practice this sort of respective diets. So if you can see from the top, you will see the summary of it. We've got vegan, vegetarian diet, gluten-free diet, ketogenic diet, low FODMAP diet, Western diet, as we shared a while ago, and Mediterranean diet. And if you come to see at the bottom where they show you the arrows in blue, it looks going down. There's only one group of diet that shows upwards, right? The blue arrow on the upwards, and that is the Mediterranean diet. It shows that microbiota diversity and stability is a lot better compared to other diets. So in the next few slides, I'm going to break it down for everyone in very simple terms, why this sort of diet or Mediterranean diet is deemed to be the most favorable for our gut microbiota in comparison to the other types of diet. So if you're ready for it, okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Mediterranean diet is popular. It's known as the heart-healthy diet across the world. Why? And the feature is that it's very plant-focused. So drawing back to the earlier slide on diet patterns, a plant-based diet. Yeah, so we know Mediterranean diet is centered around fruits, vegetables, olive oil, nuts, legumes, and whole grains, all the good stuff. And all these things are very high in fiber. And olive oil and nuts are high in omega-3 fatty acids as well. They do consume animal proteins for Mediterranean diet, but it's very low in terms of the quantity, and therefore very little saturated fat or the bad fat is consumed. Now, Mediterranean diet, because it centers around plants, there is very rich amount of plant nutrients that is solely only on plants that you can't find anywhere. If you've come across, through your reading words like terms like phytonutrients, polyphenols, these are nutrients that are very unique only to plant nutrients. And these are the ones that are responsible, which our gut microbiota likes. So when they studied Mediterranean diet, people who eat predominantly plant-based diet, they found that the microbiota profile is more diverse. If you remember, more diverse meaning more types of microbiota. So, they can spread out and, their job in taking care of the host. Now, because of the microbiota profile that's so diverse, they produce higher levels of short-chain fatty acid. So short-chain fatty acid basically is the food, the energy that the probiotics or the good bacteria uses to break down foods and get, to produce more of the good bacteria as well inside our gut. So it's a good thing, okay? Short-chain fatty acids, we want more of that in our gut. But once that short-chain fatty acids is, at a higher level, it helps to lower down levels of inflammation because it acts as an anti-inflammatory property. So once that inflammation is suppressed, the body has lower risk of contracting diseases that we do not want. So this is a very logical sort of system, a very simplified explanation of how probiotics or good bacteria works in the body, okay? Now, in comparison to the other diets that I showed everyone earlier, what about the keto diet, low FODMAP diet, or gluten-free diet? Why people don't see gut microbiota in a favorable amount? And this is because, let's go to the first one, gluten-free diet. Now, if anyone is having celiac disease, or you've heard of celiac disease, it's an autoimmune disorder where, gluten is a type of protein that is found in, wheat, barley, and rye. Okay, so people with certain communities of people with celiac disease, they cannot tolerate gluten because this gluten, once they consume it and it's inside their body, what it does is it damages the lining of their intestine. So once the lining is damaged, then absorption of nutrients becomes an issue. So people with celiac disease, they will avoid wheat, barley, and rye because they want to avoid gluten, okay? It is a way of helping them to manage all these conditions that are associated with gluten. So people with gluten-free diet, they are, they miss out a little bit on the fiber side, because of wheat, barley, and rye. For example, rye is very high in fiber, and fiber is loved by gut microbiota or the good bacteria. So that's why you don't see very, very good profile of gut microbiota for people who practice a gluten-free diet. But fret not, they also have other ways of getting good bacteria in their diet. Yeah, we will share later. What about ketogenic diet? We also saw that the research found that people who practice a ketogenic diet don't have very nice gut microbiota profile, yeah, and that's because of the very low carbohydrate that they consume. Now, ladies and gentlemen, probably some of you are aware that keto diet is actually a treatment diet for epilepsy back in the 1920s, yeah. So it is characterized by very high fat, moderate amount of protein, but very, very low carbohydrate diet, less than 50 grams per day. So just to give you a visualization how little it is a one bowl, Chinese bowl of rice, yeah, that's about 30 grams. So meaning you're taking less than a bowl of rice or any sort of equivalent carbohydrate source for a day, for every day if you're on a keto diet. So, and we know that fiber is part of carbohydrate. They come from the carbohydrate family. So if a person is on a keto diet, they reduce their carbohydrate intake, they're going to miss out a lot on the fiber part as well, which is something that our gut microbiota loves, okay? And ketogenic diet is also associated with a variety of side effects. My friends who go on it will come and tell me they get rashes, bad breath, headaches, etc. So if you want to know more about this, we can chat a little bit more. But my point here today is that ketogenic diet isn't a gut-friendly diet if you're looking at increasing your good bacteria. What about low FODMAP diet? Some of you may or may not have heard of this low FODMAP diet. It is prescribed to people with irritable bowel syndrome or IBS. You can see at the bottom of my slide. IBS is a condition where a person experiences diarrhea, constipation, bloating, abdominal discomfort because of a lot of related gastrointestinal system. And it is believed that because the body cannot break down this sort of selected carbohydrates called FODMAP. Yeah, as you can see, I spelled it up there: fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols. So people with IBS, they cannot break down this sort of carbohydrates. Therefore, they go on a low FODMAP diet. Again, you can see the similarity here. If they are not fermentable, then they miss out again on certain carbohydrates that's good for our gut bacteria. So in comparison to all this, if you put the pictures all together, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that if a plant-based diet is put in place, there's a lot of healthy carbohydrates that's going in, plant nutrients that's going in that the gut bacteria loves. Whereas when you go on a restricted diet that's meant for certain diseases like keto diet, low FODMAP, as well as gluten-free diet, then for sure, the gut microbiota profile will be affected. So in summary, ladies and gentlemen, there are foods that our gut loves. So if you see on the left, I put an arrow going up in green. These are the green signals. Plant foods is really loved by our gut microbiota. Legumes, nuts, vegetables, fruits, yeah? As I mentioned, just like the Mediterranean diet. You don't have to practice a Mediterranean diet to get the benefits. All we need to do is practice a predominantly plant-based kind of diet that includes all these components of plant foods, then we are good enough to go, okay? Secondly, our gut microbiota loves low-fat fermented dairy. Fermentable products produces probiotics, good bacteria. So you add on and then you grow more good bacteria in our gut as well. And finally, fish, because of the healthy fat, the omega-3, it's also a kind of component that is loved by the gut microbiota. Now, on the contrary, there are foods that our gut microbiota isn't very favorable of. Yeah, animal foods, particularly processed foods. Yeah, processed food really strips out a lot of things. And when I say processed foods, these days we even have ultra processed foods. Yeah, things like, fast foods, things that don't look the way they should already, as I teach children in schools, we should be focusing on whole foods, how food should look like in the original form. But having said that, ladies and gentlemen, there are certain foods needs to be minimally processed in order to extract the nutrients, in order to be able to release its nutrients as well. So I wouldn't say, all processed foods are bad, but we have to be educated on it and be wise in picking our choices. Now, aside from all this, alcoholic drinks is something that also our gut microbiota doesn't like. But again, I have to say, some people will say, yeah, moderation is fine, right, Dr. Tan? Yes. Yeah, moderation is of course fine, but if you're drinking in large amount, that's something I wouldn't prescribe to, for non-Muslims as well. Okay, and finally, sugar, and also sweeteners. These are the things that are up and coming, showing that it's not very good for our gut microbiota. Okay, so I'm mindful that I'm moving into the last section already, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to leave everyone with some quick practical nutrition tips for taking care of our gut health, and includes probiotics foods as well. So first and foremost is to practice balance, moderation, and variety. You may or may have not seen the Malaysian Food Pyramid 2020. This is something we use to educate the public, school children, or anybody at all in the patient clinic, whatever, about healthy eating. So if you can see from the base of this pyramid, it's plant-based foods, right? Mainly fruits and vegetables. So these are the good things that we should be consuming. In total, more than 3 servings of fruit, vegetables, and 2 servings of fruits at least. Okay, and then second tier, you would see all the carbohydrate sources that are also rich in fiber if we pick the whole grain choices, the whole meal choices. So again, this actually sings the same song of our practice, our recommendation in promoting more plant-based foods. Now, if on a daily basis, if you're taking your meals, ladies and gentlemen, the Malaysian Healthy Plate is one way of helping you to visually, imagine your plate or place your food in order to get more plant-based ingredients, or foods onto your plate. So if you have a plate there, as you can see on the slide, half of the plate should be filled with fruits and vegetables. Okay, and then a quarter, the rice noodle, preferably whole grain or wholemeal, and then a quarter, your protein sources like fish, poultry, meat, and legumes. What currently is Malaysia doing? Half the plate is carbohydrates, nasi and all these things, right? Okay, so it's worthy that we place a bit more emphasis on plant-based foods and looking at our plate. Just a little bit of shiftment. Once you shift the quantity a little bit more into the right proportion, you'll find actually the benefits of it already. Okay, so just a little bit of tip for everyone if you're looking at how to portion your sizes. So the palm size is for protein, fist size is for carbohydrate, open handful as well for other vegetables and fruits. Okay, so use the Malaysian Healthy Plate. Now, to give you a practical approach to practicing the Malaysian Healthy Plate. These are some real life examples that we've got from the Ministry of Health website, the KKM website, Facebook page, of people practicing healthy diet. And their comments is that once they shift the proportion, lebihkan sayur-sayuran, half the plate becomes fruits and vegetables. So a lot of people start seeing losing weight, skin getting better, less digestive problem, etc. So there are small changes that we can make in order to benefit our gut health and also our overall health. Yeah. Okay, so secondly, if you remember, I mentioned about Mediterranean diet because a plant-based diet that's rich in fiber. So please do remember to include more fiber-rich foods. So fiber-rich foods doesn't just come from fruits and vegetables like we always know. It also comes from grains, unprocessed grains, mostly wholemeal or corn, things that should look the way they should be. Okay, and then nuts, seeds are also very rich in fiber. Legumes, I think legumes are at the bottom, our red beans, our mung beans, our tong sui or our dessert drinks, our peanuts, things like that are very much forgotten these days, and they are very rich. So go for a dal, things like that will be very, very beneficial for gut health. So now let's go to, if let's say we build on just besides plant-based foods, fiber-rich foods, we can also consume probiotics-rich foods, which is consuming live bacteria itself, the good bacteria themselves. And the pictures they show you are foods, that contain probiotics. On the left, you can see top left, yogurt. Yogurt is probably one of the most popular probiotics-rich foods that is available anywhere. Okay, even in culture, in Malaysia, some people make their own yogurt, which is fantastic. We also have probiotic drink at the bottom. Well, my profession doesn't allow me to mention brand names, so I'm just using a picture there to depict, but I think everyone knows where you can find them already. In the supermarket, there are various types of probiotic drinks. They contain live bacteria. Good bacteria itself. International cuisines like miso from Japanese, kimchi from the Korean, or sauerkraut from the Germans, they all contain good bacteria as well because of the fermentation process that is applied in preparation of these ingredients. Kombucha at the bottom of the bottle ones. That's also another well-known source of probiotics. I know a lot of people make kombucha themselves. It's a good source of probiotics for sure. And in Malaysia, do we have probiotics-rich foods? We do. Things like thosai and also idli, they are made from fermented rice. So it's a great, great probiotic source. Tapai is also one. And you can see tempeh as well. But tempeh, ladies and gentlemen, is a bit debatable. Because some tempehs are pasteurized. So if they're pasteurized, their probiotics are not awake. They are sleeping, they're called dormant probiotics. Whereas if they're fermented, then they get probiotics immediately. So, but again, all these things can be included in our daily diet to build up our good bacteria in our gut. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are to purchase any probiotics, I saw Ruby send me some pre-questions here, how to identify. So if you were to buy probiotics products in the market, they should have a label containing the words live probiotic cultures. And these are for culture drinks, or probiotic drinks. They would have to bear the name live probiotic cultures. Besides that, the probiotic product would have must mention the genus, the species, and the strains of probiotics. For example, Lactobacillus acidophilus in a yogurt or probiotic drink. This is one of the most well-studied, well-established, group of probiotics. Besides that, they also must mention the quantity of probiotics. How many colony-forming units, CFU, they must mention. And also they must mention the direction for storage before and after the package is open. And all these things are dictated by the food regulations in Malaysia. Okay, these are probiotics regulations specifically for products containing probiotics. So it's regulated by the ministry. Okay. So since I'm on the topic of probiotics, products and supplements, so I thought I would take still a little bit of time just to highlight a little bit of this misconceptions that people always have when they always come and ask me if they were to purchase probiotic supplements. It's often thought that the more types of bacteria in the product, the supplement, the better it is, because when we go outside and buy stuff, the cheaper it is. Is it true? Well, this is totally a myth, ladies and gentlemen. And that's because when we look at probiotics, their functions are very specific. This particular strain, this particular genus, they tackle this issue. that particular strain, that particular, they tackle another issue perhaps, or similar issues. So it doesn't mean that if you have a specific issue that you're looking at, a health issue that you're targeting, you go straight into the type of probiotics that's studied for that function. So in other words, the choice of us picking the type of probiotic supplement is based on what kind of particular disease or condition we're looking at, not the number of strains, not the number of strains. So in most cases, they have done studies of multiple strain versus single strain, not much of a difference, in terms of its efficacy. So if you're interested to know, let's say I have a condition like this and so on and so forth, speak to a pharmacist, speak to your doctor, a dietitian who will help you out in identifying the type of bacteria that is good for your condition that you're trying to manage, okay? Now, all probiotics need to be refrigerated. People buy probiotics and they tell me, does it need to be refrigerated? Well, in the past, yes, but now it's totally not necessary, okay? So most important, ladies and gentlemen, when you buy a probiotics product, you want it to work, you want it to be efficacious, you must store it the way the label recommends, okay? If it calls for refrigeration, it therefore is important to keep it cold because that will keep the bacteria alive. Now, there are shelf-stable technologies this day and strains that do not need refrigeration. So if you purchase this kind of probiotics, then you don't have to keep it in the fridge, but you still need to read the label in order to ensure that you practice proper storage technique, okay? So another sign I always tell people how to look at probiotic storage is to look at how you buy them at the store. If the pharmacist or the person gets it out from the fridge for you, then the first thing you go back home, you need to put it into the fridge. If it's not necessary, then it's not. Now, all these are precaution levels, steps to make sure the probiotics you consume will be still alive and effective. Okay. Now, Ruby mentioned a while ago what's prebiotics. So we understand what's probiotics. Probiotics basically are the good bacteria itself. Prebiotics basically are the foods for probiotics. So if you remember, besides plant-based diet that's high in, that's rich in fiber, we can consume for our gut health. We also can consume probiotics or good bacteria-rich foods. We can also consume prebiotics, foods that can become food to good bacteria. So they help to promote the growth of good bacteria in order to maintain a healthy gut environment. So prebiotics can be found in foods like garlic, onions, asparagus, apples, banana, leek, even oats. So all these things I call the friends of bacteria. So when you consume this food, it gets into our system, and then our good bacteria will start breaking them down, consume them, and will start to multiply and grow their own good bacteria. So these are very important, and also to support your good gut health. Now, in these days and age, prebiotics can also be added into foods already, and it's regulated by our food regulation. So it's permitted to be added in beverages, most of the time we see beverages. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are a person who reads food label, you might have come across terms like FOS, GOS, inulin. All these are the names of different types of prebiotics, okay? So if you next time you see the food label, you see this, I've got prebiotics, so I'm getting prebiotics in my diet that could fit our probiotics. Okay, I lost my train of thought a while just now. Okay, before I end, ladies and gentlemen, let me just highlight to everyone here that the study of probiotics is still very long journey, a very long journey. We now know what's probiotics, which is the good bacteria. We now know what's prebiotics, which is the food for good bacteria. We also have products that are symbiotics, where they put both probiotics and prebiotics together. Someone just showed me the other day, symbiotics, which are also okay to be consumed. And then now we study about postbiotics, things that, they are the substrates that are produced by good bacteria, can even be quantified now and, made into supplements for people. There's also things like parabiotics that there are ongoing things about biotics that I'm still learning personally, okay? So this is a wide thing to learn, but I hope today with the tips that I've shared with you on how to take care of your good health through your probiotics, I hope will be something useful for everyone to think about, either from your dinner onwards or from tomorrow onwards, okay? So I will thank you for your attention now, and I hand over the time to Ruby. I believe we have a poll session right now, Okay, I'll stop sharing and the time back to you, Ruby. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. So I think we go straight to the poll question. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, Joe, please help to share the poll questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, just take a few of your time to just respond to these poll questions. There are 5 altogether. You can scroll from number 1 to number 5. So actually, there's no right or wrong on the questions. It's more on your preference and habits, for the on the subject matter. So once you've done this, and we can share the results, and our speaker today can elaborate more on your, on your preferences. Thank you. We give like 2 minutes. I think we'll do. Take note that some questions are multiple choice. Yeah.
Everybody can do the poll no
Yes.
problem. Any problem? Anybody? You can do You can you just sound up.
Okay, Joe, do we have all the response?
Belum lagi, tak ada apa-apa lagi.
Belum lagi ya.
Belum lagi, ya.
Is it okay, Joe, to share the results? Sorry, Doctor, we're checking on our side. Johari is checking on this record. Nothing been submitted. But can you check from your end as well?
I don't see anything though.
You don't have anything yet.
Yeah.
There is some problem there. Are there some problem?
Oh, okay.
Have
Sure,
you
but we
all?
have submitted already. We have responded already.
Oh, they try to they pick up.
There somehow it's not didn't capture.
Huh?
It didn't capture.
That's
I
weird, no?
try, saya stopkan dulu, handphone dulu. Then boleh kita try lagi sekali ke?
Okay, can.
Okay,
But
kita
in
end.
meantime, okay.
Saya lepas end
So
dulu.
how about the questions, Doctor?
Yeah, maybe I'll tackle the questions first,
Okay,
Ruby.
sure.
Yeah, shall I? Okay.
Okay.
So thank you very much, everyone, for listening in. Oh, I can see some results now. It just popped up on my screen. Do you get it, Ruby?
Are they coming in? Still
I
coming in?
saw Mr. Lee.
Yes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
already up, yep, on the screen.
Yeah.
Ada ke? Ada
Ada,
result ke?
Jo.
Ada
Ada.
ya? Oh, dekat
Ada.
saya dia appear 0. So
Oh,
I'm not
you
really
could.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. Never mind.
Ada lah,
Maybe
ada lah.
Ruby. Ada. Okay,
Alright.
so
Ada.
maybe I'll address the questions first, Ruby.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
maybe some people are still asking. So thank you, Ruby, for sending me some pre-questions from our participants. Okay, so I've got 8 questions here, some already covered in my sharing a while ago. Then
Yeah.
I'll quickly just re-emphasize it. Yeah. So the first one was, can probiotic promote healthy weight loss and blood pressure? Study shows that yes, the answer is yes, because what happens with probiotics is a community. So once you build up a good bacteria community, it naturally, eases in a lot of things. A lot of things are in place, and it helps supports weight loss, and it also is favorable for blood pressure control. Yeah. Okay. How does probiotic boost immunity? I think I've shared a while ago through the production of short-chain fatty acid, which is used as energy, to grow more good bacteria, and then also its role in fending out bad bacteria that actually stimulates the immune system as well. Okay. Now, the third question is, can probiotics help prevent and treat diabetes? I would say prevent, probably yes, but not treat. Yeah, it can never use to be for treating diabetes, but it can help prevent and manage diabetes, because if you remember probiotics, if you have good gut bacteria in your gut system, what it does is help with insulin management, means sugar control. Yeah, so in other words, it helps to prevent diabetes, or with people with diabetes, it has been shown that it helps to manage their blood glucose level as well. So it's more of management than treating. Okay, just be mindful of that as well. Number 4, are there probiotic side effects? Well, in general terms, most probiotics that have been studied in the market are all safe. Okay, are all safe. But there are few people, who might complain of bloating once they start probiotic, because essentially they are type of bacteria that may cause, fermentation in the body gut system. They may find a little bit of bloating or uneasiness, but generally it's selamat lah, it's safe to be consumed. Is probiotic regulated in Malaysia? That's my 5th question. I think I've mentioned in my sharing a while ago, probiotics and prebiotics are regulated in Malaysia in terms of its labeling and its products as well. Yeah. In fact, Malaysia is one of the forefront runners in terms of labeling and regulating probiotic products in the Southeast Asia region. Okay. Now, number 6, what has science shown about the effectiveness of probiotics for health conditions? I think I've covered this as well in my sharing. If you remember the slide where you saw the large intestine and the small intestine and the list of health conditions and diseases. So that's a gathering and a summary from what science has shown us. Okay, number 7, what should I look for on the label of a food containing probiotics? Yeah, I've shared that as well in my sharing when we talked about probiotics products and supplements. I hope that you can recall that as well. And are probiotic supplements worthwhile and safe for everyone? It is. The ones that we sell so far, we heard no bad effects and it's safe for everyone, including children. Worthwhile, I think it depends on how your health status is. I think in nutrition, we understand that if you have any sort of conditions or nutrient deficiency, if you take something like, let's say, if you are lacking in certain good nutrients, once you take supplementation of that nutrient, you would see benefit immediately, because you're lacking to start off with. But if you're generally in good health, you might not see the effects so clearly. So that's something you need to understand as well. Yeah. So people always say if they're healthy, they say, I'm taking this supplement, but it's not no use. It's not that it's no use. It's just that your health status is good enough. You really don't require much supplementation from that aspect. Yeah. So probiotic supplement, I think, is important if you are taking antibiotics. Yeah, or taking any medication. If you are not well, it's worthwhile supplementing yourself with probiotics. If you're experiencing diarrhea, food poisoning, those are good times to have probiotics as well. Okay, so I think I've answered all the questions, Ruby. I'll shift gear to the poll and quizzes to have a look. Yeah.
Okay, sure, doctor. I think you can share that one from your
okay, so I'll
screen.
share screen, is it?
Okay.
Okay, I'll share screen lah. Just sekejap ya. Okay, let me just share screen from my desktop. Okay, so you can see, yeah? Okay, so the participants can see my screen now. So we have some interesting findings here. The first question was asked when thinking
I
about
think
your
we can't see the results.
Oh, really? You don't see my screen, is
no,
it?
no. I think this is just feature your desktop.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Is it okay?
If not, then I let Joe to share
Can?
instead.
Yes, please. Yep, I'll
Joe,
stop
please.
sharing. Thank you. Sorry for the hiccup.
Okay, can see?
Let me see.
Result. Ada result.
Tak ada result
kosong. Desktop je.
Okay. So maksudnya benda ni tak boleh nak share ni sekejap.
We can see.
Yeah.
Ruby, I can see the poll results.
Can see, yeah?
Yeah, I can see. I'm not sure about others, but I can see it.
I can see. Dr. Tan, can you see?
Yes, it's on my screen, Mr. Lee.
I think we have to click the button down there. If you can see more and you click poll, then it will appear. Yeah. I think we have to do it manually each person. Okay.
Okay.
Poll, more down there.
More, and then there's poll. Click that button, and then it will be on the screen. Okay. I think, Doctor, you can.
Okay, I'll just proceed
some
now.
lights
Yeah.
first.
Okay, no problem. For those who can't see, maybe I'll read the question now and then I'll talk you through. Yeah. Okay. So the first question, I think this one is a great sort of consumer insight. Yeah. I like what Ruby has put forward for me here. Yeah. Thank you so much, Ruby. I think I just want to find out, maybe some encouraging behaviors that we can incorporate in our daily lives from this little short survey and poll. Okay. So the first question we have is, when thinking about your overall health, to what extent do you prioritize your gut health? Yeah, do we really think about gut health? In fact, in the scientific world, we don't think about gut health until the last 10, 15 years, I think. Yeah. Okay. So the majority said my digestive health is important to me, but other aspects of my health are more important. I'm so proud of everyone, actually. Okay. Because I would have picked the same thing as well. Yes, digestive health is very important to me personally, but I think that it's just part of the puzzle. Yeah, it's part of the puzzle, because health encompasses stress management, your sleep, your water intake, your exercise as well. So good on everyone if you pick that. For those who say my digestive health is very important, that's also very good. It means you're paying attention to something that is now the highlight of our medical health and world. Okay. All right. No one put low on the list, so that's good news, right, Ruby? Okay. I don't consider my digestive health to be priority at all. I think all of us treasure health. That's why we're here to learn from each other as well. Okay. So number 2, if consider yourself familiar and actively try to consume probiotics. Yeah. Where do you most commonly seek them out? Okay, so multiple choice question. I see that here. Yeah, yogurt and kefir or kefir. Yeah, yogurt is widely available in Malaysia. It's even in our cultural, part of our culture, like the Indian culture. They consume yogurt as well. Some people homemade yogurt. So yogurt, if you're consuming it, good on you. But if you're, if you have diabetes or you're concerned with the sugar level, please do watch out. Yeah, read the label, pick for plain without flavor, and then mix your own fruits or cereals in them to make it less high in sugar. Okay. Fruits and vegetables. Yeah. Fruits and vegetables mainly are for prebiotics rather than probiotics. Yeah, but they are good to support the growth of probiotics. Okay. Cereals, oatmeal, whole grains. Yeah, that's good. Nuts and seeds. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see here tempeh. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, tempeh is the in food now for vegetarian world, by the way. So if you love tempeh, beans, lentils, yeah, these are something I've mentioned in the talk that it's forgotten. So it's time for us to, widen up our variety and think about, foods like that as a source of prebiotics and also fiber. yeah, that supports our probiotics. Okay. Yeah, kimchi, sauerkraut, not so much our culture, but I know a lot of people who fancy K-pop, K-culture, who would take kimchi. Yeah, those are good ones as well. Yeah, fermented soy products. Okay. There are good groups of people taking dietary supplements as well. So just be mindful that when you pick dietary supplements in the form of probiotics, look out for credible ones as well, okay? And store it properly. All right, the third question, if consider yourself familiar with probiotics, why do you try to consume them? Select 3 reasons. So from my view here, I see the top reason is to support my general health and well-being. That's very good. In fact, a lot of people I know do consume supplements in the form of probiotics for general health and well-being, okay? And then the next one is to support gut health. That's expected as well. And to support immune health, yeah, the immunity. So all this comes together as a package, yeah, ladies and gentlemen. So when you take care of your gut health, then the rest will be taken care of in terms of your immune health, okay? The rest of it, yeah, here and there. Yeah, reduce constipation. That's also another one that is very significant. Help me lose weight. Yep. Yeah, okay. So probiotics can be a part of supporting your efforts in helping you to be more regular in terms of your bowel movements and also weight loss, yeah, maintaining your body weight and for heart health, yep, okay, heart health probably mainly because of the plant-based diet as well, okay, regulate blood sugar, okay, that's good. All right, number 4, if consider yourself familiar with probiotics, but you do not actively try to consume probiotics, why not? Yeah, and from my screen here, yeah, many of you answered that I do not know which foods or beverages are sources of probiotics. This is also a very common feedback we get from people. They want to do it, but they don't know where to source it from. So ladies and gentlemen, it's important that through this, get yourself educated about it. Hopefully through my sharing today, you've more or less tried to identify some of the ones that you can maybe introduce into your diet from now on. Yeah, different things at different days as well. Yeah. And then I have other more important priorities when it comes to my food choices. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Products with probiotics are too expensive. Some are expensive, some need not be. Okay, if you find products that probiotics are expensive, you may want to look for other options. You know, I think nutrition should be something that's available to everybody, regardless of socioeconomic status. So there's always option that you can go for. All right. And finally, if you wanted to learn more about prebiotics and probiotics, which information sources would you be most likely to use? Yeah. Yep, healthcare provider, that's a very good one. Make sure that your doctor or medical healthcare provider knows your condition as well. And then, yep, reliable websites or social media of government agencies, friends or family, yeah, okay. Registered dietitian, yeah, go for registered qualified healthcare, providers. That will be your main source, reliable sources. And if you look for articles online, I know these days at the click of our fingers, we can find a lot of information online, but find good websites. Okay, good websites to actually look for information, not websites that are blogs or vlogs, sometimes are not reliable. So be just very careful with these things, not to mislead yourself with information. Okay, I think Ruby, that probably wraps up my sharing. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for your response.
Thank you, Doctor. So we have come to the end of the session. Do you want to wrap up anything and summarize everything? Last day from from our nutritions.
Yeah, thank you, Ruby. And I think thank you very much, everyone, for really sending the questions prior. I hope that this sharing has been a simple one, yeah, that everyone can understand, and start applying little bits and of practice in your daily life. Not only just for gut health, but also for general health. Yeah. So I wish you everyone a good health. Yeah. And thank you very much again for providing this platform to share my knowledge with everyone.
Before that, Doctor, I will call upon our MWA Council member, Madam Annie, who is also joining us today.
Yes.
So she will say a few words of thanks to you and to everybody. Please welcome Madam Annie.
Hi, good afternoon. Dr. Tan, a very informative talk. I've learned quite a lot, and I'm quite sure a lot of people in this group has a lot of new information. I guess talking about probiotics, all of us are getting it from the internet, not sure whether it's the right one that we should follow. Right. Today, I learned a lot of even prebiotics and symbiotics. So yeah, apart from probiotics. So
Mm-mm.
it's very informative, and I'm quite sure the members here learn a lot. And I hope that we would be able to meet you again for our next series of health talks.
Mm-mm.
Right? It's really informative, where I didn't know that it can even help us on weight loss. Normally it's about gut health, about constipation and all that, where
Yeah.
my own mother. So
Right.
when you talk about probiotics, we only hear it for the older people or for the new babies.
Mm-mm.
But nowadays, people are getting more and more information on this. So yeah, hopefully we will be able to meet you again and have
Yeah.
a series of talks that
Mm-mm.
would be beneficial to everyone.
Yep.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
Amy.
much.
Thank you
And,
so
and
much.
thank you to all the
Thank you,
members.
Thank you, Madam, and thank you, Dr. Tan. May we have a
Thank you.
group photo before we leave?
Sure.
Everyone, please switch on your camera. Okay. Okay, Johari will help to take photos. Okay.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
Okay, ready, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, stop. Kita ada satu lagi. Okay, ready again. 1, 2, 3, smile. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Until we meet next time.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Take care,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.